Yeah. Hello. Welcome back to the grind. Here it is. More of the Hillman Super Minx, which I do have the. If you're listening along, you'll hear the story about what Super Minx means. Anyway, this week was all about hydraulic systems. The master cylinder brake, master cylinder clutch, both of them are. That's the original and that's the original. And I had them both out and cleaned them up. I did have a new old stock that came along, but it wasn't the right fit for the car, or anyhow, it failed. But this one seems to be working okay now. Might need a little bit more attention. The clutch seems to be working now. Say this new line here, and I cleaned out the slave cylinder, and everything seems to be okay there. Yay. And brakes are another story. Parts are coming for that, but mostly about hydraulics, and then a little bit on the carburetor again. So stick around, you'll see it all. And this car generates an awful lot of footage, so I might have to start putting out 2 a week on it to keep up with it, because just lots and lots of footage. And I just go slow on stuff, and if you enjoy it, great. And if you don't, well, turn it off. See you later. Bye bye for now. Yeah, here I am, back again, and on to the Super Minx, right? Now, last week I was on the motor, getting the motor to run. My goal is to get it so I can drive it around the yard, make it so it runs and stops and goes. So that would mean getting the brakes to work and the clutch to work and things like that. So the back brakes are non-existent, so I just put a plug here. The front brakes are existent, so I'll just see what I can do about making them work. This goes to one side, that goes to the other side, and I've got some new flexi pipes coming for them. And I don't know, whether they'll work or not, but we're gonna give them a try without doing anything to them. See what happens. So I've got to take that clutch cylinder, master cylinder out, because nothing's moving there, and I've got to take the slave cylinder out too, and see if I can get something to move on that. Okay, I'll see if I can get that apart first, then I'll worry about getting the master cylinder. I have a new master cylinder, came with the car. Well, new, likely in 1982 it was new, and it was, here it is here. Like, it's all there. There used to be a rubber thing here, and it was just all rotted off because it was so old. So this thing's been sitting forever, right? Lockheed, but it's new. Like, that's new old stock, and it likely will be okay. There's the old one there, and it's likely not bad anyhow. But we'll go ahead and try the new one out and see what happens. Okay, carry on. Now, the next step for that is to start working over there. Okay. Yeah, so I put a switch here. I can turn it on and off. So watch the light there. That's off. That's on. So I can just don't have to worry about it having electricity and unplugging that thing all the time. So there, that's just for once everything's put together, I'll take that off of there, or maybe never, who knows. So I got that out without wrecking it. That's kind of a nice thing to happen. And I put some heat to it and it came out. Now I'll see if I can get it get it off the car. Yeah, so there's the clutch master cylinder. Now somebody has put a whole bunch of goop on there. I don't know why. Might have been something leaking. Nice to know that I'm not the first one in there, right? So now I can sort of work on the brake, I think. I'll just think about that. Yeah, so nearly as I can tell, the only reason they had that goop on there was because they didn't have the rubber sealer for it. Nearly as I can tell. Now I'll see if I can get it to come apart. That'll be a challenge. I've drained all the fluid out of it. It's in there. It was full up to the top and it was a nice red color. Now I did the wire wheel on it to see if I could get, you know, some of the goop dirt off it, and it certainly just seems to be protected by goop, so no rust or anything. No rust or anything on it, so it seems to be yeah, I think might be okay. We'll see. Yeah, there, that's all came all apart easily. So now I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner. It comes out with there's the cover for it right there, right? This washer goes in here. That holds the whole thing in. That's the plunger here, and there's a spring assembly that goes like that. And that's basically it. This little copper washer here goes in between those two. So I'll put this into the all this stuff, except I'll put the spring, and this can go in this ultrasonic, and this thing here, I don't know, it's got a little tiny tear right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe. A little tiny tear in it, in the rubber. I'll check the old brake master cylinder and see if they're the same size bore, and if they are, I might have a rubber like that inside that one. And the new one, I'm not going to, don't know what to do about the new one. I think what I'll do, I think I'll put some fluid in it and then work it a few times, see if it works. Put some fluid in that, and then, you know, squirt it through and see what happens. This one's definitely seen some better days. I think somebody had it in upside down and back. No, maybe it goes that way. I'll have to check on that spring when I get it back out here. Yeah, amazing. Anyway, we'll carry on. Yeah, so I pulled this one apart, and it seems to be all brand new-ish. So I'll put it back together. Never been used. New old stock, whatever it is. And I think the rubbers are fine. Yeah, the rubbers are fine for this brake cylinder. Brake master cylinder, yeah. I took a Q-tips and taped them to a screwdriver so I could get right up to the end. There was a little bit of dirt up there. This one here is fairly new because it's got this plastic piece up there. The other one didn't have that, don't think. Maybe it did. Anyhow, and this plastic roof here is so old that it's cracked and gone. Whoops, that plastic roof is so old, but this plastic roof, this metal roof is okay and it fits. So it's amazing. All right, I'll just, so my brake bleeder thing, if you use a garden hose, like, you know, what you use on a garden hose, it fits on there and makes a tight fit, and you can bleed them that way. Okay, I'll carry on. Okay, here's the anyhow, I get this out, which is amazing that it comes out. The line is okay, nothing wrong with the line. So I'll get this off, which is the line, and then I'll get that bolt and that bolt off, and I'll get that off there too with this, because so here's the slave cylinder. It doesn't look as promising as the other ones were. It's pretty yucky in there. I'll get wire brush and see if I can clean that out a bit. Then I'll see if I can put some air pressure to this side and push that out a bit. See what happens. You never know. Yeah, so the slave cylinder here went from something that was, I didn't think it would be ever any good, to something that rubber there is fine. And all the pieces are fine. I put it on the press and pushed it backwards, and then I was able to put air pressure to it and it popped it out once it started moving. So, yay. Now I'll leave that for tomorrow, and I'll just do a little bit of work on this one here tonight. This is the master cylinder for the clutch. Yeah, so I went and I missed filming putting this all in there. So first in went the spring up to the end with a small end to the top, to the end of it. I put some brake fluid in there just to lubricate stuff. Then next came that first rubber thing, and it went down so that it'll meet up on the spring. And then this one here pushed in on top of that with that little copper washer in between. And then this goes in right here, and the clippy thing goes in. See if I can get it to stand up. Anyway, I'll get that done. Yeah, there, that's all back together. We've got the clippy thing in there, and then it will like, you can make it go back and forth. If you put your finger over the end of it here, then it's got pressure and it's got suction. So that seems to be the way it's supposed to work. And it's free moving. So that's the way it's supposed to be. I'll put it back together tomorrow, and I'll put the put some brake fluid in it, and we'll run some brake fluid through it till it clears up. Well, then tomorrow I'll also get that one there done. That one there is pretty simple. I just have to clean the bore a bit, I think. And I think I have a hone that'll clean that. Anyhow, time to quit tonight. See you tomorrow. Well, here I am back out at the brakes and clutch. Now I've got the slave cylinder in there cooking away. But now I forgot to show you the pieces of the clutch when I put it in there. So this is the original, what I think is the original brake master cylinder. I've cleaned it up, and it's actually in fairly good shape, except all the rubber bits are gone. So it's got this bit here, which goes to the end. I think it goes like that way there. I think it goes like that because that makes some sort of sense. So that drops in there. I think that's in right now. It sits like that. Now it's sideways. See if I can just get it stuck in there properly. And this part here goes in. And it's supposed to have rubbers on it. That seems to be about right the way it should be. And this part here goes on. There should be a spacer here, but it doesn't have it. I wonder why. Should be a spacer behind this thing. Doesn't seem to be here. So, not all the parts are here for it, but that's all right. There, that sort of just sits in there like that. And that's the roof for it, disintegrated. This is off the carburetor. I forget where it goes. because that was the I used the metal roof on the other one because this one here just sort of goes like that. Maybe I'll put some tape around that. Anyway, that's how it goes. Meanwhile, this came in the mail, or in the, whatever you call that, Amazon. So that side there gets cable from the battery. This side gets cable from the starter. This one here is the ignition switch, which will trigger it from the key or whatever. This one here, when the solenoid is engaged, this puts out 12 volts straight so that you can run that. Like lots of coils go through one of those voltage reduction things. I forget what I call it now. I had it yesterday. Anyhow, you can take and run this straight to the coil so that when the starter is engaged, the coil gets 12 volts, 12 volts to it, gives it a better chance at a spark. Then when you let the key off, this releases and it goes back to the, whatever they call that thing. What do they call that thing that was smoking here yesterday? That thing there, which reduces the voltage to make it a happier system. I forget what you call it. Anyway, so I'll see if I can get this thing in here, and then I'll have a working system perhaps. An awful lot better than when I started, right? I'll see if I can get something to hone the inside of that out. And here's all the inside pieces. They look all right. That's plastic. It goes up against the end somehow. This is the rubber from it. Anyway, now I got distracted while I was waiting for that to cook, and I'm onto the wiring here. And here, you know, as usual, there's some interesting wiring in old cars. Looks like something wasn't working right, so they scabbed a new wire of the same grade onto here, and that hooks into the battery. They didn't weld it or solder it or anything like that, just wrapped it on there and put some electric tape on it. So I'll unhook it for now and see where it goes. Won't worry about it right away. Then I'll hook all this stuff back together and see if we actually get ignition still. Okay, here, what's this? Solenoid out of a tractor, right? So now I just put a jumper wire from here to here because I suppose I could just hook that directly to there. I'll do that later. I didn't want to do it until I found out that it actually worked. Here's the main wires to the car here. That other brown wire, I've unhooked it and put it aside. I don't know what it was for or what it is for. These wires, that one ends. I think that goes on here for the brake lights, but it doesn't hold because it's broken. And then, well, just that thing there, I didn't want it in the way there. Main wire from the battery, this is the negative on the battery to the input on the solenoid. Either side can be an input, doesn't matter. This is the signal from the key on that one right there. And the other one there, that'll run 12 volts when the motor's turning over, so you can run it, give it the coil some extra power. I got a switch on the battery here turned on to the positive side, which goes to earth in this car. Now let's see what happens when I actually see if the key that I've put in actually works. Now I have just got the key hanging there, right? So turn it on, right? Oh, look at that. You get ignition lights over there and oil pressure light. Then nothing. How come? Maybe because I've got that thing. That wire, the brown wire, must be doing something that it needs power. Wait a sec, I'll hook up that brown wire and just see. It was absolutely nothing to do with this brown wire here. So I've I don't know what that brown wire is for. I'll chase it down and find out. Anyhow, this one here, the what it was everything to do with was this thing here not having a wire hooked onto it at the proper switch. So turn it, motor turns. So that's a good sign. Now I think that, I'm not sure if it had spark on that or not, but we won't worry about that right now. I'm pretty sure it does have spark because just the ignition's on and it should have spark. Well, it should. Famous last words. Anyway, I'm happy with that. That's all in there and it works. This thing here, I'll just tape it off and put it somewhere till I find out what it is. And now I'll go back to the clutch, which I've got cleaned out pretty good. Needs to be honed, that does. These parts here are cleaned up enough, I think. They're no problem. This rubber here is in excellent shape. So I'm not gonna worry about that too much. I'll just put these over here so I don't wreck them while I'm trying to hone stuff. There. And now, where am I? I have a hone. Hopefully it works. There, now I'll see about. Wonder where I am over there. Right. Oops. About there somewhere. Yep. See if I can get this. So I put some oil in there, and the hone goes in. Whoops. All 3 bits. And now, see if it's any cleaner. Can you see in there? Where am I? A little bit of pitting on the walls towards the end here, but deep in where it actually works, the workings happen, it seems to be not too bad. Might give it another run with the hone. Doesn't hurt anything. Okay, here I'm pretty near ready to put it. It feels okay in there. It's not the prettiest in the world, but I think it'll likely work. This goes in like that. And then this goes on top of here like that. So I'll see if I can get them in there like that, and then the metal thing goes on top of it all. Hang on till I need 2 hands for it. So I'll bring it back and I'll show you. Yeah, there, it's back together with that piece in there. Then the other part is here. This is a little bit worse for the wear, but I guess it's still good enough to be a clutch pedal. And it goes in there. Now there was a rubber over this, but that rubber is long gone. I'll see if I can get a new rubber for that somewhere or somehow. Maybe one of the ones that have fit over, whatever you call it. Anyhow, it can add on later because this just has to come off to put that on. There, now I'll put it all back together. It's a little bit yucky in there, but that'll get cleaned up at some later point in life. That seems to move. That's the, don't know if it engages or disengages or what, but we'll find out soon. Okay, I'll get that thing up there and show you what it looks like. Clutch linkage is in there. It has to be like filled with fluid and then pushed out. not much adjustment on that. In fact, no adjustment on it. I guess I could make a change to this thing here to make it longer. In fact, I could put an adjustment in there. Anyway, but won't worry about that right now. This cable here is for shifting gears somehow or other. It does something up there. Don't know what, but we'll get there someday too. Anyhow, that's enough for today because it's quitting time already. So I'll put some stuff away and then carry on tomorrow. Yeah, back for a new day here. And first thing I got to do is, I don't know, can you see down here? Yeah, that's the bolts that hold on the clutch, right? And I think that, don't know if that works or not, but that's the bolts that hold on the brake. So I'll clean those off so I can get things onto them, and then I'll see about putting those new bits in there. See what happens. People that saw that I put everything together backwards in here, so should be the spring on that side, then the, oh, whatever you call that thing, the diaphragm, and then on this side it should be that spacer thing to go in there and push on it. So no wonder it's not working. So I'll pull that off. And also I think I have this little thing in the little valve in here upside down and backwards. You know, that's the way I do things. So maybe that'll fix it up a bit so it'll squirt better. And then we'll see what happens. A shaft that was integral to it, I guess, but it already had a shaft hooked onto the pedal. So I took the shaft out of this one and used the one on the pedal. So now this isn't loose here. This isn't tight yet. Well, it's not. It's pretty tight, but it's not completely tight yet. So I'm going to see if I can just pump it a few times, see if some fluid comes out there. You watch and see. I'll pump it a couple of times and we'll just see if we can make a mess, eh? That's what I'm good at, making a mess. Yeah, right there. See what happens. Don't know what will happen. Seems to be not working. Gonna have to get there in there with my foot and pedal on it a bit. Definitely no fluid going through. Have to take it apart again and see. Okay. When I put this in and I pressed the brake pedal down, it went and this part here was too long or longer. Gonna say longer, I'm not gonna say too long. Longer than the other one. Went up and it just squished this thing here and that jammed everything up into that front end of it. Now, I've took out the rubbers and put them on here, and don't you know, it seems to work. So far, I'll see if I can bleed the brakes off and get some sort of brake to happen. That's still nothing happening there yet, but we'll get working on. We'll see if we can get some air out of it. This side's got brake pads. The other side doesn't. So I think I saw some brake pads in the trunk. So this side here, no brake pads. So first off, got to figure out get some brake pads into it of some sort. I'll take a look in the trunk. Yeah, so there, I said I found a set of pads in the trunk. Wait till I get this on here where you can see. They just slide in like that. Then there's cotter keys go through here and a couple of spring clips that go on there that I don't have, but I'll put the cotter keys, a couple of cotter keys through, split pins they call them in England, and then that'll have pads on both sides so the pistons won't pop out. We'll just see what happens here. Okay, there. Yeah, so the brake pedal actually works. This line here, unfortunately, I broke it. Anyhow, so I'll get this flexi line off. I've got this brake leader out of it, or loose anyhow. So once this flexi line comes off, then I should be able to fix the brakes so I can get front brakes working anyhow. Well, then we'll have to take a look at these things. These will have to eventually come off and get them cleaned up, but perhaps not today. Perhaps today would be good. I don't know. Not today. We'll see. Yeah, there. Got the fuel. Thinking about fuel pumps. Anyhow, I got the what is this called? Flexi hose off without too much damage. Had a copper washer on there. That seems to be flow through there now. I'll just check and see if I can get the fluid out of that thing, right? Yeah, it looks like it's dripping through. So this thing here is plugged. Can't get air to go through it or anything. So there you go. Yeah, the liquid that comes out of there is pretty gooey, but it is liquid. So that's a good sign that they might be salvageable. Just need some brake pads. Funny that they weigh that. Oh well. Anyway, this pad here is big, this one's small, so it must have been this caliper, the size. This side here must have been seized. I'll have to pull it all apart and see if I can get them to come apart. Anyhow, that's for the future. Might as well get the flexi hose off the other side. Then I do believe that the master cylinder is working because it came up to be a hard pedal when it was up against, couldn't go anywhere. After I broke that line, then it was a very soft pedal. So I'll just see if I can get this side done and go from there. Okay, get this flexi off of here. On this side, this is the left-hand side. These things are different everywhere you look. I don't know why, but the other side was 7/16. This side's 3/8. Don't know why that would be. Maybe it's a new hose. Maybe it's a new line. I don't know. Is that on? Can I see it? Not on very well. Not on at all, but somebody's got that all twisted off. Some other person has that all twisted off. So I guess that's not going to make it. I'll see if I can get it to... Anyway, just the other side, it came apart. I'll work at it here.
Okay, wrench on the floor, right?
And it's a 15/16 wrench to get onto this thing here. And I've got a pipe wrench holding it on the bottom there. Do you see that? Pipe wrench there. And the other side was easier to get off than this side, but it's coming. I'll just keep on going until I get it. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, that's out. Now this thing here, see, that slides over the top of that and it holds itself, and it's got the capture for the nut at the bottom there. Anyway, so I'll save them. They're handy. Then I'll pull off that other flexi hose, and I imagine it's just as plugged up as the first one. So now we've had partial success on the brakes over to that junction right there. It's good. Beyond that, needs new lines and flexi hoses, and likely rebuild the calipers, but worry about that later. No big rush. I'm gonna my plan is sort of to get it together, get enough paint on it just to make it so it won't rust. Then I'm gonna put it away and work on the Volkswagen van for a bit. That's kind of the plan. We'll just see where I go. So what I do here now is that's the line going down to the bottom. So I put it in and just get it started, leave it on loose until such time as so that I don't have to fight with getting that line on later. I'll just easier to just get this lined up on there. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Oh dear. Oh well, looks like there's a leak in that line right there. So you try to bleed something and it won't bleed because the line's leaking. So, but I did get fluid down to there anyhow, and I think this is fairly full of fluid. So we'll call that a success for what do you call that? A conditional success? I'll make a new line for that thing. See if I can get that line pulled out of there somehow. Okay. Yeah, can you see that? Yep, there's the line. It's got this hoopy thing in it because the motor shakes, right? And that's where it hooks onto the side of the car. So I'll just make a line like that. I've got this copper alloy stuff that makes fairly good lines. So I'll just copy that line and see if I can put the ends on it. There it is, mostly copied. I'll get some ends on it, and that end there is pretty rumbled up. This end here is very good. So it's bubble end on it, so I'll make a bubble flare. Hey. Okay, here we are making brake lines, right? So don't forget to put the fitting on because it's your last chance, right? So then you have that tube poking out a bit, then put it on operation 0 here and push it in flat. Then tighten this down tight. Put it onto operation 1, 4.75 DIN operation 1, this one. And pull it through. Should have had 2 hands on that. Hang on, I'll get 2 hands on it. I just pulled it tight there, and then take this all apart. Whoops. Should have 2 hands on this too. Okay. Don't be throwing those things around. There we go. Get a nice bubble flare out of it. Let me see. There. How's that look? That's a nice bubble flare. So there's one done, and I'll do the same to the other one as soon as I find my thing. There it is. Okay. Yeah, there. I just slid that in there, and I've got that hand tight in there right now. Maybe I'll just give it a couple of cranks with a wrench, make sure it's actually catching threads. Hey. Then I'll put it up on the hoist and get the bottom one in. Then I'll go bleeding it again if I can. Yeah, left-handed operation is slow, isn't it? There, that's tight. I'll loosen off a bit so that it doesn't hang on there. And then this part here, after I get the bottom in there, I'll stretch that around to be in the right spot up here. Okay, hang on, I'll lift it up and we'll see what we got underneath. Yeah, there, that clutch line is in there. Now I'll have to get this into the right spot. That'll just take some finagling around on that. And I've likely got this on backwards, right? as always. This little thing here, I got it on backwards. Yeah, I do. Should be that way. Okay. Anyway, I'll get that sorted out. And now I did bleed it a bunch, and then I pumped it a bunch. So I think there's still a lot of air down there to get out of it. So I'll get after that tomorrow. That's enough today. It's quitting time. Yeah. 5:15. I better go and take the dog for a walk, eh? Okay, see you later. Yeah, here I am. Back again. Now, I'll put this light underneath and point the camera at the clutch slave cylinder and see what happens when I pump on the brake, pump on the pedal. Yeah, watch that and see if it moves. I'll come back in a minute. Check the footage. Yeah, certainly didn't see any movement there, but oh well. So there, that's Super Minx, right? Now, I have it on good authority that Minx is a slang word for a wildcat. Anyhow, and so maybe it's a jaguar, right? Who knows? But the that comes from Chris Jackson, who seems to know a lot of stuff. Anyway. There you go. Seems to know. Not only seems to know, he does know a lot of stuff. Thanks, Chris. There you go. That's the drip, drip, drip of failure. It's leaking out past the seal and everything. I'll take it apart, see if it's... don't know what's going on for sure, but it certainly isn't doing what it's supposed to do, right? So I'll take it apart and we'll have another go at it. Yeah, so as usual, headed upside down and backwards. So this part here, I assumed went down in there, and then this part here sat on the, like, against this. But what happened was that was pushing against that, and then, of course, this thing flipped off and wouldn't work properly, right? All the fluid went past it. So this goes in this way with the black bit up, then that creates a shield for this to live around and it won't get knocked over sideways, right? Then this part here goes on, of course, and that's how that works. So I had it way wrong. Anyhow, but now that might be way right now and maybe it'll start working properly. I wonder if I've got it upside down and backwards in the main cylinder there too. Don't think there's a possibility of that. There is always a possibility of that. Okay, anyway, I'll let it be. There, I've got my power bleeder on it. That's like a garden hose hookup thing. A couple of O-rings in there, and then this has got like 10 or 15 pounds in it. So, see if I can get that thing bled out. Okay, see if I can bleed this thing out here. Like there's, I don't know if there's any fluid traveling there yet or not. I think so, yeah. Yeah. That's got fluid going. A couple of bubbles coming out. Now this thing here, I want to press that all the way in. Easier said than done, right? I think it's not much coming there. There's lots of bubbles coming now. Oh dear. I wonder if I've emptied the reservoir. I bet you I emptied the reservoir up above. Yeah, quite a bit there. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I go from worse to worse. Okay, try it again. Put more fluid in up above. Try getting more to come down through. Oh dear me. Yeah, I have what I think feels like a clutch cable. Oh, gotta get underneath here more. Whoa. Losing light. Okay, get underneath. Everything's in the way. Somewhere around there. Yeah, you can see the clutch there now. Right in the middle of the screen. Okay, you watch that up there. Right there. And I'll see what happens. Got like a clutch cable and I pushed on it. Lots of bleeding I did. Not only the clutch bleeding on me. Ow. Does that look like things are moving? In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Now, get you back out of here. Okay. I will read. Well, there. That was definitely movement on the clutch. So this thing here is handy tool, and that's just like a garden, like a garden hose connection. Fits on there. Then I have to tighten it down with a pair of vice grips, but that's good. I'll leave that be. Now, I could use a bit of adjustment on the, boy, it's what a yucky mess that makes. I could use a bit of adjustment on the, whatever you call that. What do you call that? On the thing there that pushes, because when you could see on the, if you could see that footage there, it was coming out right to the end of the metal. And I also could use that rubber thing that goes supposed to be on there. So that'll be down the road. I can make that little metal thing, the actuator, just a bit longer by welding a piece into it, or else I can make it adjustable by putting one of these, a bolt on it and thread it up. Well, anyway, we'll sort it out. I'm not going to worry about it right now. If it works, I'm happy. Well, there. Nice to have a little bit of success here anyhow. There, now that'll come back some more, like if I want it to, but I don't want it to. And then it's up against the, what do you call that thing? The throwout bearing right there, or the release bearing. This is right up next to the exhaust pipe. So I've got to sort of make that so it comes around here. That would be a better thing to do. I don't know where the exhaust is supposed to go. Somewhere around there. It's, free-flowing exhaust. You can go wherever you want it to go. Anyway, now that's nice to have a small amount of success there. That's small amount of success is all I want sometimes. This thing here, it seems to be, maybe it's supposed to be way over here, eh? Away from the exhaust and away from the motor. And now I'll tag down that line up there where it's supposed to be tagged down. And then what'll I do next? I've got the water pump should be showing up today. I could start taking these apart, because don't you know they'll have to come apart. Get them cleaned out. Then I could always take these hubs off. I need one of those. Imagine I could build one of those on the 3D printer, all right. Okay, what else do I need to do here? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. It's way up there still. So I think I'll have a go at getting the carburetor right again. This thing here I'm going to have to, oh, that's pulled right out of there and that's pulled right out of there. Somebody did that wrong. That'll have to be repaired or ignored. Like it's supposed to have a steering stabilizer across there. I don't know that it, like, I don't think I'll be having it at high speed, but I'll do something about that sometime. Don't know what. Yeah, got the carburetor back, so I just have to get this off of here. And that's likely a 7/16. Where's my wrench? Where's my wrench? And I'll let the fuel drop into here, right? I hope. Likely it's not a 7/16. Well, might be an 11 or something. It's a tight fit for a 7/16, but I think it's a metric adjustable. Where's my wrench? There. Looks like it's not the best gasket in the world, or else this isn't flat, which could be either one of those, right? Now this little thing here, I'll just pull this out of the way and that out of the way. A little bit of dirt has collected in the bottom of that. Permanent dirt there. This thing here, I've got it in upside down, number one. This thing here, I got it in all backwards, number two. So we'll just see about pulling this cover off first, I think, eh? Yeah. Dropping stuff on the floor. And then I will put a bit of goopy stuff on there to make a better seal, because the seal wasn't the best there. I do believe that the thing is actually okay, the fabric part, whatever they call that. Diaphragm. I do believe the diaphragm is okay. In my hand a minute ago, there it is. These Solex carburetors, I use them on Volkswagens, and they're very good on Volkswagens. So here, this thing here, which still works. See this? That part is supposed to be, is that the side that goes, oops, yeah, that side goes down. Then this thing here goes in this hole here. And that's what hammers. Can you hear that? Can you see that? Goes in this, that hole right there, and that pushes against that, and then that makes it work. So I had it in backwards. Oh dear, that's something new, isn't it? Now, where is it? Now, that I'm going to leave on there like that. This I have to get out of there. Wonder what screwdriver fits that. Way over here somewhere. There's this thing here, and there's a little thing in there, which I've got in there upside down. I wonder if it'll come out. Yeah, there it came out. There, that makes life easier. Oh, just keep on banging on stuff. So I had that in pointing, whoops, see that? I don't know, can you see this? See that little tiny thing there? Just like a little, I had it in pointing down, and I think it's supposed to sit in here, like that. So that it moves in and out and closes that. So we're gonna do that anyhow. Now, should there be a spring in there? I don't know. I didn't remember any spring coming out of it, so in fact, but who knows, eh? Might be just a pressure thing. So that's back into the right spot, right? Now to get this thing here together with a little bit of goop on it, I'll clean that off a bit. Then if it hooks on over there, and it must hook in that little spot right there. Okay. See if I can get that to happen. A little hooky thing here. Playing hooky. Ah, you're out of the screen, right? Here I am. Back on. Likely I should use a Q-tip for doing this, right? Yeah, there, I put that blue stuff everywhere. Right or wrong, it's on there. Now, have I got it? this has to go over here somehow. Yeah, there, that's all back together. Even though you just put a tiny bit of that blue goop on, it squishes out everywhere pretty good. Now this thing here, that actuates, if you watch right here, that makes the pump go. And I'll put some fuel in it, and we'll check it out and see if it actually pumps fuel. I think I've got it together correctly. I'll put it back on the car. Now, the great holding hands here business. Let's see. You can see down the throat there. Can you see? Right there on that side. Yeah, it's squirting all right. I don't know if you can see that, but it actually works. So that should be back together right, correct? We don't know. Anyhow, I'll shut off the fuel. I'm not going to start it right now. I'll start it later on when I get a radiator into it, which might happen later today, might not. 316, we'll just, I'll go and see if the FedEx guy's been here, or the guy from, what do they call that? UPS guy. Yeah, there. Now, I was taking a look at the footage last night. This thing here creates a lot of footage. So I'm going to cut this one off here, and mostly about hydraulics. Those two things, that's the brake master cylinder, and that's the clutch master cylinder. There's a slave cylinder underneath there for the clutch, and the I won't bother even talking about the wheel brakes because none of them work. Anyhow, there's these cylinders seem to be working okay. I might have something backwards in the master cylinder. I'm going to check that out today. Perhaps I'll show you that before I close this off. Then I also did some reconfiguring on this carburetor here. This thing here, the fuel accelerator pump, it's leaking, so it's coming through the membrane. I've ordered two new things for it. One of them, like, it measures from a diagonal measure from hole to hole, and so I've got two of them coming. One's a little bit bigger, one's a little bit smaller. See which one fits. They're not expensive items. The shipping costs more than the item, right? So I got two of them, and for the same price as shipping. Hey, yay. The fuel pump, I'm gonna work on that some more. That'll be next time. Generator, did I do that this time? I think I did the generator this time, and it seems to be okay. Nor did I do the generator last time. Yeah, I did the generator last time. So anyhow, we'll close it off here, and I'll carry on next time. The water pump has arrived, so that's coming up, and all sorts of other confusing things on this little car. So hope you enjoyed it all. See you later. Bye for now. Yeah, I think I have that in there. This is the other one, right? And I think I've got that stuff in there wrong. I'm not sure. This should be up against, this end here should be up against the end of it. This thing here likely should have been inside there, like that, eh? Yeah. So I've got that one there in backwards because it's got just the spring stuff up against the what do you call that, the rubber. So I'll fix that. Have to take it apart and fix it. Yeah, so here's the difference between these two things is not very much, except like that's to there to there. So that's back here. Don't think it makes a big difference where that lies, that one. but it does make a big difference. I can use this thing here with this spring and see how that is deep in there, and this one's just shallow here. So I have to drill this one out so that it'll fit right onto the brake foot pedal rod. We'll see if I can drill it out. I don't know if that's hardened steel. I don't imagine. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. Yeah, so here this was like this, right? On there. And then it was on that other one too. So I measured in here is 28 millimeters to the bottom of this, and it's 28 millimeters to the bottom of that. So that's the right depth. And I got it kind of tapered because I think it has to wiggle a bit in there. This one here has got a nice taper on it all the way in, but this one I've got it in 3 stages. Anyhow, the bottom is as deep as it goes, and the rest is, we'll see how things work out here. Now this spring here I kind of was tough on the other time, plus that piece there plus the spring is the same length as this spring here, so that's, I'll use this spring, and it hooks on. Oh, wait a minute here. There's the rubber on here, right? And that spring goes on like that, and that holds everything straight, and it won't come off its mounting. It goes in like that, and it's a happy system. Then this goes, where are you? Hang on. Oh, there. This goes on top of here, like that. And then a spring clip goes on this thing. Yeah, there you go, and that's a deep enough hole there so it'll go on to the whatever you call that, and it should work. Well, famous last words, should work. I'll put a bit of fresh fluid down here. The old fluid out of the other one was pretty yucky, so I'll put a bit of fresh fluid in here and then we'll carry on. There, now that's back on there, tightened on, everything's on. Okay, so anyhow, I'll carry on to the end of this video, and that'll be good. See you then. Bye for now. Okay, here, where is it? There's a new water pump. It's got a back plate, then the pump's in there, and the gasket goes in between. I think I've got 2 gaskets here, one for both sides, plus that, just a piece of cardboard there they have for a spacer to make sure it doesn't get ruined on the way across the ocean. This one here goes to the, don't know where it goes. It goes somewhere. This one goes to the heating system. This one goes to the upper, don't know where. We'll find out. I'll have a look here and make a guess. There's one here. It goes somewhere. Don't know where. We'll get it on here and see where stuff goes. Just to see. And then I gotta find some bolts. I think I have bolts for that somewhere. Don't know. Okay, November sometime. Maybe the 14th, maybe the 13th. Just heard all the ducks splash out of here. One duck in the sky. No, that's a, I don't know if you can see that up there, but there's a hawk or an eagle, or eagles, two of them out there. Can you see that stuff? Hard to say. Playing on the wind. I think he was right here in the pond looking for something. Anyway, they're gone. And the sun is sort of coming through there. But a grim day today. Wind was blowing all night, going offshore, so it didn't make any big changes here. But there's some pretty big waves out on the strait and everywhere. Anyway, that's another day at the cove. That's kind of nice to see two eagles flying around. Okay, see you later.